going on, everybody? I'm so sorry. This is your baby. Go ahead. I'm so excited. It's my birthday month. It's Rocky. I'm drinking. What's up, everybody?
Pain medication, but it's fine.
We didn't need to mention that. We didn't need to mention that, TMI Panda.
It is what it is. Good evening, all you minties, and welcome back to another episode of Reelz Talk with your host, the amazing Amanda, and my lovely co-host, the uncanny Omar.
Hey, how's it going, everybody? Today, before we even get started, I want to give a huge thank you to Amanda, because not a lot of people would do this. So last week we talked about how we were going to go watch Creed 3 and how the Rocky franchise is like one of my favorite franchises of movies. And she's like, well, I haven't seen a lot of them, but if you want to rate them, I'm like, we can. And I was like, yeah, but you haven't seen a lot of them, and there's a lot of Rocky movies out there. And she's like, I can do it. We got a week. And I was like, damn, okay. And she did.
Yeah, I did. I watched some of these twice. And just, it's not that I haven't seen some of them. I haven't seen any of them. And that includes, no, I've never seen any Rocky movie. Even the Creed movies, I'm pretty sure maybe I've seen Creed 1 once, but I have not seen any of them.
Oh, dude.
Thank you to Paramount Plus for having every Rocky movie, and thank you to HBO Max for having
you pay for that, so that you have to thank them. They get your money every month. It's not like they sponsor you and they're like, yeah, sure.
One day, if they decide to sponsor me, thank you for having all the content I needed so that I could watch all of these for Omar's birthday show about Rocky. It's not his actual birthday today, but I mean, yes, it's his birthday month. It's actually my little sister's birthday today. I feel like I put way too much
happy birthday, Amy.
Jenny. No, Jenny. It's fine.
The youngest. I meant Jenny.
He's the breathwork instructor. Yeah.
Yep. Mm-hmm. I know what she does for a living. If he does, he does. Oh my God. This is going to be so hard to condense down to just however long Amanda can give me, because I love these movies. I have these movies memorized. That's 2 hours all I got, guys. So the first thing we're going to do is we're going to review Creed 3, because we just went to see that. It opened up on Friday, I believe, and it is the first movie directed by Michael B. Jordan, who also starred in it. No, Blas, it's not. It's not her birthday month. We've already established my birthday month.
It is her birthday month.
February, though. You're gonna have February. Happy to answer a question you may have about Creed. Well, thank you for that, Scott Stapp. We appreciate that.
Are you really Scott Stapp?
He's official.
Can you take me higher? No.
What was that? We're gonna get demonetized because you sound just like Creed.
I sound nothing like that.
Knock them down. Won't you try to? Oh my God, 5. I love these movies, man. I love these movies. All right. So let's go. Let's stay focused, and we're gonna talk about Creed 3. All right, Panda. Give me some things about Creed 3.
Awesome. All right, Creed 3. So,
and one more thing before we go any further. I'm sorry. Just in case, I'm gonna put a little tag down here. We are going to be talking about spoilers for these movies, and if you haven't watched them, don't you do yourself a disservice. Go and watch these movies. They're great. I'm not saying Sylvester Stallone and Michael B. Jordan need your money anymore, but they are really good movies. All right, so we are going to be talking about Creed 3 with spoilers. So,
and I believe you put Creed 3 in your rankings, right? Because I put it in my rankings.
Yeah, absolutely. Seen it. You gave me 9 movies. The only one I didn't put in my ranking was the Rocky IV director's cut, because I feel like that's unfair. So,
and I also didn't watch it, so that would be unfair to me, unless that's the one on Paramount Plus.
You could have watched it.
Okay, anyways. So yes, Creed 3 came out this weekend, directed, like Omar said, by Michael B. Jordan, written by Michael B. Jordan, Ryan Coogler, and his brother Keegan Cooler. And this is the first one in the franchise where Sylvester Stallone is not in the film. That's due to some behind-the-scenes drama. He didn't like really the direction they were taking the film. Him and Irwin Winkler have some bad blood. He's the producer of the films, has been a producer since the beginning too. So not really sure what's all that is about. However, they still try to honor.
I will say it feels really weird going into a Rocky movie not having Stallone. And I know it's not a Rocky movie, but it's weird because he created the characters. Now, as we talk about this, that's how I went into it. I was like, I don't know, not having him in this movie at all really is going to take away from it. But as we review it, we'll talk a little more about it and how my thoughts changed throughout the movie as I'm watching it.
Yeah. So just to give you guys a little bit of a understanding of what Creed 3 is about. So yes, so at this point in Creed's career, he is retiring. He has done his final fight against, I think it was Ricky Conlon, who we saw him fight in the first Creed movie, right? He's clearly out of jail.
Who
right?
knocked him the hell down in the first movie.
Yes,
like in real life, knocked his ass out.
That's amazing. I wish I could have found that gift, but I could not. Yes, so we get to see him. I guess he's out of jail. Good for him. And we see Creed is now, he's done. He's completed. He's moved on. And talk about someone who does not mismanage his money, unlike some people in earlier Rocky movies. This man is doing just fine.
He needs to get to Creed 5 before mismanaging those. But you know how this goes, okay?
I know. So they obviously are, their daughter, Omar, has now grown up. She is deaf. So they do a really good job of portraying that in the film. The actress herself is deaf as well. So there's a lot of inclusion in that front. And they get to see them interact a lot with her in their sign language. And I think they even had ASL interpreters on the set, people that teach them sign language. And so you see this, now they're like this family, right? They're living, he's retired. He's working at Duke's. Well, I think he owns Duke's gym, or he has a stake in it. And he's trying to help Duke with Felix, who's like go ahead.
Did you make that connection that this is Duke, his son? Like yes. The original Apollo's trainer, this is his son, who of course played the character on The Wire with Michael B. Jordan. So this is kind of like the same.
I didn't know he was in The Wire.
He was the big bad guy in the first season, and of course this is the third time he's appears in the franchise. They've already established that he is Duke's son.
Yes, so. Yeah, exactly, and I have to remember the Titans, but it's fine. He was a lot earlier. So in the same time, so he's retired. He's obviously, his wife's producing music out in LA. They are, hanging out with Marianne, Phylicia Rashad, coming back as Apollo Creed's wife in this, and of course his surrogate mom. And while this is all going on, we also have an old friend from his past. And this movie does open up with a flashback of him and an older boy. And he beats up this man that he hasn't seen in a while, which we learn later on was a group home, a guy who worked at one of the group homes that he stayed in before Marianne took him in, right? And you see that something bad happened with him and this older boy. This older boy is now Jonathan Majors, and he is coming out of prison. He spent, 18 years in prison. It was a long time, right?
I think it was 16 years.
16. It was in the teens. And so he's coming back from prison, and the first stop he makes is to visit his old buddy, Adonis Creed. And obviously,
you don't know his intentions yet.
We don't. But it's Jonathan Majors. Yeah. It's Jonathan Majors, though. He's charismatic, yet there's always an undercurrent of, is he going to do something bad? Is he sinister? That's how he plays it. So you have these two reconnecting. Obviously, Creed feels a lot of guilt. We don't really know all of what happened. We see flashbacks throughout the film until we get to the climax of the film, where he finally talks to Bianca about what happened between him and, what's his name in the film? Jonathan Majors, Damien. Before him, like what happened with him and Damien. Yeah. And so Damien.
Hey, Chris, you serious, Chris? It got me too, man.
It got me too. So many times. So he offers to let Dame, because Dame wants to become a boxer, but Dame was already older than Creed when he got locked up. And now he's older, we're at the point where maybe one would retire. And even Creed mentions this, but he has been training in prison this whole time. He's obviously been following Donnie's career, and he wants a chance, or that's what he makes it seem like to Donnie. So Donnie lets him go hang out at the gym. And even though Duke's like, this is a bad idea, he even eventually lets him spar with Felix, who is their contender, right? Their next heavyweight boxing champion that they're trying to work with, whose mom has played that wonderful actress from Orange is the New Black. Can't think of her name right now, but one of the Hispanic women who was in the kitchens.
Oh, yeah.
Yes, she was great. So while all that's going on, he's infiltrating himself in other parts of his life. He's hanging out with his wife, talking to his wife about what's going on with her career. Obviously, to retain her hearing, she stopped performing. She just produces. And we start to see these little aspects of there's something not quite right with Dame. And it all kind of comes to a head when at this record party, I'm giving like a whole synopsis, I guess.
No, it's been a while since you've done this, and I miss it. Yeah, because it's a solid movie.
It is. And so what happens is at this record party, Felix, everyone's there, and some guy literally comes up and breaks Felix's arm, essentially. We don't know who this person is. He's booked. So now that there's no one to fight, and not Felix's. Yeah.
I mean, pretty Ricky or
no.
Drago's son?
No, not Drago's son. Basically, Dame now has to fight. Basically, Felix has no one to fight him in the ring. And so they're like, oh, why don't we have Damien do it? Kind of like a rags to riches story. So, kind of similar to a lot of things we've seen in Rocky before, right? Rocky was a rags to riches where Apollo Creed wanted to fight someone. They need a payday. They're like, oh, let's bring us a brawler from Philly in, right? And same thing with Creed, right? Pretty Ricky's boss or handler wanted him to fight him because, well, he was Apollo Creed's son. And even though he's only done one fight, maybe we can, this will be good. It'll draw a crowd and bring money. So Felix and Damien get in the ring. Damien is a street brawler and he's hungry, and he literally nearly destroys Felix. Like, he ends up in the hospital and Creed is upset. Everyone is so upset, and he becomes the new heavyweight champion because of this, even though he did some low blows. And then Creed's pissed off and he realizes that everything that Donnie's been doing has all been trying to get back at him. They have a confrontation that doesn't really end well on the beach. And so eventually, as he's trying to distance himself, obviously Duke's pissed off at Creed, so he tells him not to come around to the gym for a while. And the Dame's out there just talking shit about Creed, saying that he didn't earn his title, all this stuff. And eventually Creed decides he needs to stop this, and they decide they're going to fight one-on-one. And it all kind of comes to a head after someone passes away. I guess Marianne. She ends up passing away. She was actually hiding some letters that Damien was writing to Creed because she wanted him to forget that part of his life. She knew this kid was not good for him. And it was clear that from all these letters and from everything, he's learned that the guy that broke that one guy's arm, Damien and him were friends in jail. So there was that aspect. And so that it ends up coming to a head, and the two of them have to fight.
Wow. Thank you. Sorry. Thank you for the super chat. Hi, Amanda and Omar. If you were professional boxers, what would your entrance themes be and why? Also, what color trunks? Thanks for all you do. I always look forward to your weekly videos. Thank you so much for the kind words in the super chat. Oh, man. Hearts on Fire. The greatest freaking song in the Rocky franchise. You can come at me because of course, I have the Tiger, but Hearts on Fire. Oh, my God. That thing has been in my workout playlist for 20 plus years. I had a tape of Rocky 4 when I was a kid. Yeah, so that's because it's just perfect. It's perfect.
What would your color trunks be?
Red and white for Peru. Viva Peru, carajo. Come on now.
There you go. You were born to be a boxer there.
I was not. I was born not to watch boxing movies.
Oh, what would my entrance theme be? If I was to, that's a great question because
I love it. I love that question.
It could go a lot of different ways. I think it would probably be a Fall Out Boy song if I had to choose one.
I was going to guess that, but didn't want to.
I think it would be a Fall Out Boy song. I haven't decided which one, but maybe my song's No You Did in the Dark, because that just sounds like it has a good jam. It can beat in. Yeah, I feel like that would be it. And my colored trunks.
Yeah,
I would go for yellow for Hufflepuff, since I'm a Hufflepuff. Yep, I haven't. I'm such a millennial.
Gosh. Okay. Yeah. What's up, Joey Richards? How are you? No, not for me, my friend. I always suggest the number one from Bleach. Ooh, ooh, ooh. That's a good one, though. Dude, whenever he goes, Bunkai, you hear that song, you know them dudes are in trouble. That's a good one, brother. What Patreon tier? I am not Paul Logan or them dudes. I'm way too old to box, man. Now, back in my 20s, gotta started that tier. I don't know. Maybe. Money talks. Continue, Panda.
Yeah. Well, anyways, obviously, we of course get Creed a training montage because he hasn't boxed in a while, and Duke is very eager to point that out. He's got calcium deposits, and he's all these issues, right? He's been hit in the head several times, concussions. So they've got to get him back in his fighting shape. So of course we have that montage of Creed getting back into fighting shape, and they eventually do battle it out, which is a really interesting and different action sequence that we've seen in other Rocky movies, right? They do I'm sure everyone has read about the anime influences that Michael B. Jordan has, like Dragon Ball Z. You could definitely see that in that final fight, and we can talk about that a little more in depth. But eventually, he is able to beat Damien, and I guess they're okay in the end. In a way, they kind of forgive each other, but at the same time, he still beat Damien. But of course, we also have, his daughter who clearly loves to fight too. She's young, like 10, 11, but she's eager to fight as well. So he does teach her a little bit. And if you think that they're going to go in a certain direction, maybe in 10 years, I wouldn't be surprised. So in 10 years time, but that's like essentially the Creed 3 premise or synopsis. So let's kind of give our thoughts quickly on what we thought about the film. So Omar, initial thoughts, because we sat next to each other and kept talking about the movie during the movie. So.
Yeah. So, going into this, so it's got immediately like two things, right? Like no Sylvester Stallone, which is a big bummer, and Michael B. Jordan as a first-time director. You never know, right? It could be like, holy crap, this guy's multi-talented, right? We've seen different, we've seen actors turn directors, right? We've seen that before, and it works, and then sometimes you're like, why?
John Krasinski, yeah.
But holy crap, the amount of love for anime in this movie is crazy, because we've seen anime-inspired movies before.
Mm-hmm.
But when the dude, when Creed in the flashback has Naruto's poster in the background, you're like, oh, they're not hiding it. And then there's scenes in here from just so many different anime. The biggest one, of course, I think to most of us that grew up at least in the 80s and 90s was the big fight between Goku and Majin Vegeta.
Yeah. We can't show you the actual image from the film because I couldn't find it.
Oh my gosh, dude. I looked at you and I'm like, that's from Dragon Ball Z. Like, straight up Dragon Ball Z.
That's pretty accurate.
What happened. And it's so dramatic. It's so over the top that you're like, yeah, I buy it. Sure. And it gets a little bit artsy when it's just both of them focusing on each other. Everything is quiet around the ring. It turns a different tone. I liked it. I like how the fight scenes were filmed very up close, lots of use of CG, but subtle use of CG with some slow motion in it. It was great. I like how close up the fight is. It makes it look real. We can go when we rank the movies. I'll talk a little bit about that, like how the fighting choreography and you couldn't do things that you can today with cameras. So absolutely, man, it was cool as hell. The plot, I felt like it could have been a little bit longer because I feel like there was something missing from the middle when we went in between acts 2 and 3. So maybe not so much more the middle, but I feel like there was something missing, like the progression of the arc. I feel like there was maybe 30 minutes more of footage. Maybe that's just me thinking, oh, Stallone would have added 30 more minutes and taken this out, But no, it was overall, it was a fun movie. It kind of hokiness that we had in the 80s with the different style Rocky movies, Rocky 3. This one pretty similar to Rocky 3 in the way that he loses his mother, and Rocky 3, he loses his father figure in a big devastating scene. So
Mick,
Adonis, it's a wonderful legacy for sure, right? I love it. And not having Rocky in it, going back and rewatching Creed 2, he actually had a nice closing arc to his character, right? Like he went back to see his son meet his grandkid. He's crying. It's beautiful. Yeah, that's not from the movie at all. I think that's from like the behind the scenes or somebody's Instagram.
That doesn't matter. I couldn't find the movie version, so I got a behind the scenes look.
Yes. They were in the zone during the scene with just them and no crowd, which is really cool. Really cool. And it's crazy to see how much this franchise has grown. Like going back to Rocky 1 where they couldn't fill the seats, so they had to film it in the dark to make it look bigger than what it really was. And now it's like all the seats are filled. They're having Showtime boxing, which I didn't even know was a thing, in the middle of it. So yeah, my first reaction to it was, oh, this is fun. It's a good movie. I liked it. What about you? As somebody now, had you watched Creed 1 and 2 before watching this one, or no Creed 1 and 2, and then this is your first movie?
I think I've watched Creed 1 back when it first came out, like sometime around 2016, 2017, but that's about it. I don't remember seeing Creed 2, but now I've gone back and I've watched those films several times since I watched them both before Creed 3, and then I've watched them since seeing Creed 3 because I want more Creed. Anyway, overall, so I really enjoyed the film. I think the take on the action sequences that Michael B. Jordan had, I thought they were pretty inventive. And you're right, they're able to do stuff now that we couldn't do in 1976, 1985, etc. So you always have to understand that, I guess that's more so when we're talking about rankings later on here in a little bit. But I loved how, there was no Rocky in it, which, I agree. I think his arc did end pretty well at the end of Creed 2. And I feel like this is the start of now the Creed franchise, right? So where it becomes Creed's legacy and Adonis Creed's, right? We still have elements of the Rocky, and you can still see elements of the Rocky franchise in this film. And even, after watching all the Rocky films and then, now having seen Creed 3, I was like, okay, I recognize some of these different things that have happened in different Rocky movies. So they still try to honor the legacy, even if Sylvester Stallone didn't want to be a part of it. But at the end of the day, Creed eventually has to move forward. I know the one thing you said that was only disappointing to you was that he didn't show up at Marianne's funeral. And I was like, I just think we have to assume he was there. But I mean, we have to make
this is Raphael Miranda bring something up. So is it weird that we never met Adonis's stepbrothers? Well, so he had a stepbrother and a stepsister. He mentions it for the first time, I think, in this movie that your own damn kids didn't even like me or something like that. I can't remember. He mentions it, right? In Creed 1, it was mentioned that Apollo left his wife and had Adonis with another woman, right? And I've seen the counter argument of like, why couldn't Adonis be Creed's biological son? Why did it have to be somebody he had an affair with? I think for the timeline, it works, even though the Rocky timelines make absolutely no sense, which we'll talk about here in a little bit. But for the timeline, it works. I mean, if you're going to date back 30 years at the time of Creed 1, then you would have to have a 30-year-old, right? And not a 37. And plus, it adds that dramatic effect of like, oh, this kid, he's been in juvenile detention. He's in trouble. He absolutely doesn't would not make a good boxer. And then we see what happens. Omar and Amanda, what's up, Transcendent Travis? Do either of you know when they decided to change the direction of Creed 3? Because I remember a long time it was supposed to be Clubber Lang's. I did too. But honestly, that was, I thought, a rumor, right? I didn't know it was a sure thing.
Yeah. I don't know if that was a sure thing or just a rumor. Everyone was like, well, where are they going to go next, right? Because it's Creed 3. Clubber Lang was Rocky 3. So one could say that the rumor was like, well, this is going to follow some type of a format. But if Michael B. Jordan was already on hand to direct, and I think given the way this film is, it was definitely a certain look and feel and direction. They were going for like this, what is it, Cape Fear kind of vibe with this guy lurking in the corner, which I think they could have done a little bit more with, like the way Damien was kind of trying to ruin Creed's life. There could have been that, like you said, it could have been, drawn out a little bit, right? Until he got to the point where he was going to take over the heavyweight championship belt and it all becomes obvious. It just seemed like that happened too quickly and they had to do a lot of, showing and stuff like that. That was the only issue I had overall. But I mean, I loved the idea, because all the Rocky films are about family a lot of the times, in essence, right? Whether Rocky's family, And this one is very much about Creed's family too. So I think they really showed that in this film.
Someone during my Creed 3 showing got up and left during the Stephen A. Smith scene. I thought they were taking a bathroom break, but they never came back. So Stephen A. Smith, he's a sports
the
personality
sportscaster
from
interviewing,
ESPN,
right?
Right.
Yeah.
Which was really weird because that was one scene that kind of felt really weird because Dame was calling it in, and I'm like, what? This is like Jerry Springer. Like, you knew that this was going to be a call that was going to be had, and he challenges him. It was really weird, but yeah, I mean, I'm sorry that maybe they're not Stephen A. Smith fans. I don't know.
I don't know the history of Stephen A. Smith. Did he do something bad? Do we not know?
Oh, right. Yes, I was looking up if Stephen A. Smith had been canceled because on this show, oh my gosh, it feels like every week somebody's telling me something new, and I'm like, well, I guess I better stop talking about whomever, fill in the blank. But yeah, overall, I thought it was a good movie. I think I want to see both of these actors work together again and come back as a Creed and Balboa friendship that was didn't last very long, but in the third movie and a little bit of the fourth movie.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm excited for where this is going to go with these characters. For Creed, I would love to see Rocky back again. Maybe a little FaceTime call, like, hey, everything okay? All right, checking in on you.
FaceTime. Yeah. Which honestly, why didn't Dame call him out on social media? I feel like that would be more realistic for this day and age than over the airwaves. Like, that to me did not sound, that's not 2022, 2023, like realism right there.
It doesn't make for an interesting, it doesn't make for an interesting dramatic scene.
That's
though, right?
True, it doesn't. It does not. So a little bit of TikTok that he would have made.
Right, you got a man on the phone calling you a punk ass bitch, and you're gonna be like, "I'm gonna show you." Right, social media hitting that dislike button just doesn't have the same effect. I don't agree with that. Dislike. All right, hold on a second. Isn't Stephen A. Small just one of the many annoying, shitty sports person? Yes. Oh, I don't know. I don't watch sports.
Yeah, not. You know when I see him? When I'm at the gym and it's playing above me.
What's playing?
Like any sports stuff, and he's on it.
Okay. Dame just got out of jail. He don't know social media. That is true. You don't know social media?
No. You don't think they curled up these guns?
But that was one thing that they also did, that you don't know the extent that he was playing Adonis either. Because he's surrounded by a bunch of dudes at the beach with women, and he's like, I got you. I was like,
who are those people? Yeah.
I mean,
that's why I wanted it drawn out more. I wanted to see that part drawn out.
Right. If I hit the dislike right now, Omar will react more. No, I can't even see the dislike button anymore on YouTube. I only afterwards.
It's very true.
So anything else you want? The lighting? Do you want to talk about the lighting?
I mean, the lighting was really good in that action sequence. No, I mean, overall, I really enjoyed the film. It kept me intrigued throughout the entirety of the film. Every actor in it was phenomenal. I mean, hands down, it's an amazing cast of characters. I was not disappointed.
Yeah, man.
And seeing Victor coming back and being his friend and helping him train, we haven't even talked about that. How him and Victor Dragos are buddies now, and he comes back and helps him train to get back in shape. I would love that
franchise. Of course, that's gonna happen.
Yes, I loved it. No, well, Ivan never came back in.
I think Drago is how all this began. The whole thing between Sylvester Stallone and the studio. Like, apparently, that was supposed to be the big story. Was there was going to be a Drago movie, and he got upset because it's like, hey, these are my characters. How can you make a Drago movie without me? But anyway, that's hearsay. Would have Adonis train with Drago, Damian, and Rocky, and take a little bit from each of their styles against some new dude. I there's so much fanficking I can do. No one could be worse than Skip Bayless. Who is Victor Drago? I don't know if that's serious or not, Cycle Cleveland. Yeah. I didn't feel the fight scene when the public disappeared at a cage show up. Didn't work for me. It got artsy, but I thought it was cool. I like the shots. And it's not the first time that's happened. I mean, it's happened in Rocky 5. It happened in Rocky 4. They just were limited to what they could do for special effects.
I liked it because this fight, it's not about the crowd. It's about these two boys who have these, I mean, at heart, because they even show it, like when he's looking at him, it flashes the image of a young Damian. And when Damian looks at Adonis, it's flashing a young image of Adonis. It's about the two of them at heart, these young boys who clearly have these inner conflicts they have to fight out, and not about the rest of the crowd that's coming out.
And if you think about it, I mean, that is the idea behind Rocky, right? It's not about a fight. It's not about the crowd. It is about two people coming together, and it's a beautiful moment. Not that Adonis and Dame are a beautiful moment together.
Yeah, I think.
I don't know. I didn't write any fanfics. They were making a spinoff without even knowing, without him even knowing, and even Dolph Lundgren didn't know, but Stallone was pissed. Yo, man, we just talked about the Dragon Ball play. I looked at him, man. I'm like, that's straight out Dragon Ball Z, baby.
It was awesome.
Saga. People in my showing were clapping and cheering during that fight scene. Did you have the same energy at yours? And not as much. I think I was a little bit, and so were you. I think we were about the only, because we really get into movies though. Like,
yeah, we went to a small local theater. Like, yeah.
Although people were clapping at the end, so that makes me happy.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
I think Michael B. Jordan said in an interview, the scene when they're in each other's head is a reference to Naruto Shippuden, when Sasuke first sees Karuma inside Naruto. Man, straight up, seriously, there's a lot of homages here to Dragon.
Oh, yeah, 100%.
Victor Drago is Ivan's son. He's in the movie. He's in the second movie. Also,
in the third movie, he does cameo in it. Yeah.
Who plays him?
I don't know the man's name off the top of my head, but I could find out.
I don't know the man's name off the top of my head either.
Florian Munteanu.
What about the score? Because I feel like Creed had a really powerful score, the first movie. The second one also used that score, remixed it with a little bit of Childish Gambino in there and a couple of other songs. What about this one? Did this one stick with you? Because I think that was the one thing that was lacking for me, was a little bit of the score.
Yeah, it didn't have anything anything that special that I would remember. I think they still had elements of some of the other scores that we've seen in the past, but it didn't stick out like some of the other scores have in the past. Who did the score for this one though? That's a good question.
Oh, it was not the gentleman that did the first two, because it was a schedule conflict.
Joseph Shirley did the score.
Not that it was bad, but he's the dude that played Razor Fist in Shang-Chi. Victor Drago.
Yes, it is the same actor. Look at him moving on up.
Well, I mean, for which one? Did he move up for Shang-Chi, or did he move up for Rocky?
Well, he did Creed 2 and then he did Shang-Chi, so he moved up. He moved up
and then he moved sideways. Ludwig did not score the movie. Joseph Shirley scored it. Yep.
Yeah, Joseph Shirley.
Tessa Thompson's entrance for Adonis in Creed 2 was fire. See, I did not like that, man. I thought that was as hokey.
I love that. Like, no way.
You know, it could be my age though, because I'm keeping in mind, though, a child of the '80s. So I love you. We're gonna be talking about that. We're gonna be talking about that. I promise.
We're gonna talk about that.
I figured Amanda would like it. People her age. Creed 2 music is elite as well. Yes. Dude, it's straight up good, right? It's that remix when he's training out in the field. He's got the tire and he's hitting it with a sledgehammer.
It was good.
Psycho Cleveland, I don't know if this is you or not, because you're not yelling. And
yes, I believe yes. But he plays a very convincing Russian who lives in Ukraine because he was cast out.
Jack Pierre saying that Creed 2 is the best of trilogy.
Jack Pierre?
All right, we'll see.
We haven't seen Jack Pierre in a while.
No, we haven't. We haven't seen him. Joseph is still part of Ludwig's team.
Okay.
I'm child of the '80s too, sir. It's just your lack of taste. Oh! Ouch! Shots fired. Ow! All right, my bad. I wasn't a fan of Tessa Thompson doing that little thing on her microphone.
What?
Just saying. She used a little.
There was the one thing. So talking about the cast, when we were watching the film and we were watching, I think it was a emotional scene between Tessa Thompson and Michael B. Jordan. And I looked over at Omar and said, you know what makes me mad watching this is that that talent was wasted in Thor Love and Thunder. That was wasted in Thor Love and Thunder.
Look at Jonathan Majors.
I know. Wasted in Ant-Man.
And it wasn't that he was a terrible character in Ant-Man, but this is the kind of monstrosity. He has a presence Like,
So strong.
this guy is gonna go places, which I'm sure he has already. Like, everything that he's in has been so good. He is so good. There's my boy Psycho Cliff. Do you know Dolph Lundgren has a master's in chemical engineering? I did know that. Do you know that he almost killed Sylvester Stallone in the making of Rocky IV when he punched him too hard in the chest and his heart shifted, so they had to get him to the hospital because Stallone was like, "You need to hit me harder." Okay. I must break you. Oh my God, dude, he freaking almost killed Stallone. He went to MIT on a scholarship. Yeah, he's a smart dude. All right, Amanda, and anybody else that has seen Creed 3, and then we'll go ahead and rank these movies. What would you give Creed 3 out of 10? Ladies first.
All right. I think I would give this a strong 8 out of 10. Thoroughly enjoyed
8 out of 10? Okay. That's a good rating. That's what I was giving it. 8 out of 10.
There we go.
Now that is fact right there. Fact. I can't wait to watch that with Amanda and see what she thinks.
Oh, I know.
Is a black belt martial artist, a certified high IQ. Is there anything the man can't do?
Yeah, is there anything the man can't do?
Dolph is the best Punisher. 8 out of 10 from Chris, and then we'll see what everybody else thinks. 7.5 out of 10. Did you know that Michael B. Jordan took a real punch? Oh, yeah. I was telling Amanda and her husband about that because her husband was like, "Oh, man, that guy was weak." And I'm like, "Dude, he knocked him out, like in real life." Let me show you. This is behind the scenes.
That's not acting.
That's the shot that they use in the movie, but it's in slow motion.
And it looks so good in slow motion.
Him out so cold, man. I was like, holy. If you watch the behind the scenes, you're like, yeah, he really like knocked me the hell out. So that shot that you see of him in slow motion getting punched with him like spitting out. Ooh. He got punched.
That actor is the actor who plays Pretty Ricky Conlan is a fighter, right? Okay, in real life. Okay, that's what I thought. Okay,
I assume they went for a lot of fighters during this era.
Well, I know that, yes. Well, apparently the guy in 2006 was Rocky Balboa was a real fighter too, because he has no other acting.
Mason the Lion Dixon. That guy. I agree with Omar. The use of Gonna Fly now and going the distance. I love, dude, especially in Rocky 2. Boy, when his wife. All right. Let's talk about these movies. All right.
Movies were of their time. Okay. Anyways.
Excuse me, they're of their time.
Their time.
The test of time, man. Rocky to this day is a phenomenal movie.
No, there's a reason why I don't want to be cliche that some of these movies, some of them have stood the test of time.
Man, there's only like one bad movie in this battle. I don't know what you're talking about.
Yeah, they won an Oscar. Look, they won an Oscar for Best Picture. And we actually had this conversation because I was telling Omar that a movie like Rocky probably wouldn't win an Oscar in this day and age with the way things have changed and how the Oscars are, which is a shame. But
it's a damn shame.
It's true. It's very true.
That is a shame, seriously.
Oh, we got some more ratings. Raphael, Yuri did hymns. Oh, he gave all of them
10. Yeah, he liked 2 more. Chris gave it a 9 out of 10. He really liked this one.
Yep.
Now I was watching the first one. All right. So now we are going to rank the movies, which is a very hard task to do, at least for me, because I take this stuff way too seriously.
You sure do.
About this. Should I put this here or not? So, and Amanda has a link where you can rank the movies yourself.
Let me add
she's
that.
going to share in the chat, so you can go and rank the movies yourself, and we can check out everybody's. And you can email me. So that's the link right here that you can go and rank the movies yourself.
Yep. And then you can, after you rank it, if you hit the save or download button, you can actually save an image of it. You can send that to nearmintcon@gmail.com, and we can share some of those either tonight if you send them to us quickly, or we'll throw up on social media tomorrow as well. So we'll get to show everyone what your rankings are on the Rocky franchise.
So just click on the link and go and rank these movies. All right, I'm going to be sharing my screen.
You want to go first? Okay. So we'll start we're going to start with the least favorite, obviously.
Yeah.
Number 9.
So we'll put the least favorite up at the top because that's where 9 is, right?
Yeah.
9? Okay. Yeah, you can go first.
A tweet saying ranking chronological order. Well, we're ranking them in terms of our least favorite to what we consider the best of the franchise.
You see on the left-hand side 9, 8, 7, and 1 being your favorite, 9 being your least favorite, whatever they may be. So I'm going to let ladies go first.
Okay. Let me see. Let me see if I can do this right. Okay.
I'm curious what everybody thinks. Everybody's different. Like I'm sure my list is going to be different than most people's, and that's okay.
True. All right. I'm going to hit present, share screen. This one. All right. Can everyone now see? Yes, you can. All right. So for my number 9 in terms of the Rocky franchise, now, granted, I've only seen some of these movies I've seen twice. I did rewatch some of these movies. Some of them I've only seen once. But overall, I pretty much have to say my least favorite was Rocky 5.
Mm-hmm. I think a lot of people would agree with that. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, with Tommy Machine Gun, Tommy Machine Gun?
Tommy the Machine Gun. Yeah. Tommy the Machine Gun.
Yeah,
who was a real boxer, passed away a few years back. Like the Boxing Association would not let him box because he had HIV. And not during the making of this movie, but he got it a few years afterwards. And yeah, it was kind of sad. And he died at a young age. I think he died at like 46 or so. Passed away.
Oh, gosh.
This movie, it gets a lot of hate, but I think there were some wonderful moments in it that people forget about. I mean, this is the man losing everything and coming back home, coming back to the streets that he knew. And I thought that was good. And, teaching somebody, losing the connection with his son. And there's a wonderful moment where Adrian's telling him, like on the street, she's like, "You're losing your family. You're losing your son." He's like, "What?" And he realizes what's happening, right? Keep in mind, though, like during this movie, too, he had suffered concussion.
Yes, he was suffering from some brain damage. And yes, those are all very valid points to the film. But there was something in my mind lacking from the overall, how it was all presented. And then, of course, the ending where the final brawl is in the streets and Tommy, like just that, the way it all plays out, I just didn't feel it. And then
I remember watching that movie and coming out of the theater. I didn't realize how many people were upset that there was no fight. Like people were like, "How is there no fight at the end of this movie?" Like everybody was expecting the fight to take place inside of a ring, and it didn't. It took place outside.
Yeah, instead we get him ending the whole thing with him and his son going up the steps to the Philadelphia Art Museum, and he makes the comment they didn't know what was actually in that museum for the longest time.
I've never been in it. Dude, I like that. I love the Mickey quote. The Mickey quote in that is good, where he was like he's telling him, people get old and nature is smarter than people think. And it just you see people, you lose people left and right. What's the point of living? But with you, I've got, you give me hope. You keep me living. And I think that was the line from Mike Tyson's trainer that Balboa took from him to put into Mickey. And this was the last movie with Burgess Meredith alive. So
yeah.
Okay. So that's yours. For me, I am going to share my screen first, of course.
Mm-hmm.
My least favorite, and again, everybody's list is different. Rocky 3. I was not a fan of that one. There was a lot of good moments in it. It has Eye of the Tiger, which is blasphemous. I shouldn't even put it on the bottom. But there was just a lot of things lacking. Like I didn't really like the character of
Clubber Lang.
Yeah, Clubber Lang. The whole silly thing with Hulk Hogan. What was his name? Thunder Lips. There were aspects of it that I liked, but most of it was pretty middle of the road. There was a good scene, of course, with Burgess Meredith when he passed away, and Rocky's just screaming and crying on top of him. I thought that was a pretty powerful and emotional scene. But for me, I don't know. I know a lot of people like it more than 5. So, like I said, this is not like everybody's list. This is just my personal take on these movies. It's not like it's a horrible movie because I still enjoy it, but I think it's one that is the least amount watched in this house anyway.
Yeah.
But that's why I'm going with 3. Although we do get one of the most manliest scenes in the history of any movie. That's when they're running in slow motion at the beach. They're like, yeah, oh man, they went the distance, baby.
I do love that Carl Weathers and Sylvester Stallone friendship. There is very nice, and it's good to see Carl Weathers in The Mandalorian. So always good to see that man still working.
Answering Clubber Lang is a great no, dude. Clubber Lang, I did not like, but fun fact, that was the first time Mr. T said, "I pity the fool." That was the first time. A lot of people think that like it happened in the A-Team, but it was in the Rocky 3 movie. He says, "I pity the fool." Wow, people are canceling. You guys are so hard. I do all these things, and one little thing that you all don't agree with. Breaking news: Omar canceled on birthday month. What a travesty!
Oh my goodness! All right. So my number 8, and let me share my screen again. And I'm gonna tell you, it's not gonna, I think, differ that much, but it is Rocky 3. Like you said, that movie, yeah, for me, Rocky 3.
You're gonna yell at her like you did me.
Yeah, I was like, this is ridiculous. This is where, because this came out in
woman, listen here. Your old man ain't got no heart, baby. Dude, that line, I was like, you know, it's funny. Come on. Mr. T's mom was in the audience and she got so appalled by his delivery. She had to leave. I know way too much about these movies, but bet you stay up at every night dreaming you had a real man, don't you?
That was so
come back with me. I'll show you a real man. Oh,
so,
man.
And I get it. They were trying, you know, Mr. T and Hulk Hogan, these famous personalities. Were they famous at the time? I think Hulk Hogan was Mr. T.
Yeah, he was a big, I mean, wrestling was huge.
Wrestling, right? Yeah.
Mr. T, like they wanted to get a real boxer in this one, as opposed to Creed, right? Apollo. So it just didn't work out during the like early filming stages. So they decided to go with an actor that could do some boxing.
Well, I mean, it's not bad, but I mean, and yes, there's that sad moment with Mickey dying and him dealing with the grief of losing this mentor figure. This just jabbed in the middle of Hulk Hogan and Clubber Lang or Mr. T, and this movie didn't work for me in all the Rocky movies. No, not at all. So that's where I got to throw it. Not as bad as Rocky 5, because freaking Paulie mismanaging his damn funds. Why is that man still around in Rocky Balboa? What the hell? I know
Paulie done pissed off so many people in these movies, man. Like I'm with you, Paulie.
God, that you cannot have a sidekick like that in this day and age. You cannot.
A little borderline. No, he's a little racist in the third.
And he called his sister retarded, I think, in the first.
Oh my gosh, dude! I know. I was like, what the heck? Well, keep in mind though, like we are living in different times, like right? Like,
oh yeah, of course.
That right now would not fly. I mean, looking back at The Office, they use that word left and right.
They use a lot of words.
That wasn't that long ago. It's just the times we're living in. It doesn't take away from the movies and the times. You know, I'm not saying that it's excusable, but I mean that was language back then.
Oh yeah,
we weren't that politically correct when it came to a lot of things. So yeah. All right. Whose turn is it? You went with Rocky 3?
Yes, for number 8. So it's your turn. What's your number 8?
I think it goes without saying that you probably know what's going to be number 8 here, and that is Rocky 5.
Yeah.
Now Rocky 5. A lot of people's last one. A lot of people's very last on the list, but I think it had some redeemable qualities, like losing everything, rekindling his friendship with his son. I thought he had a good message, right, about letting go of things and focusing on family, because that's what this is about anyway. So yeah. And you got that Measure of a Man song at the end by Elton John.
Yeah.
But that's why I put it there. Now I'm curious where we're going with this, because I think maybe, I don't know, some people put Rocky 2 as one of the worst ones too. I've seen that, and I actually like that one.
Yeah, a lot of people like Rocky 2.
All right. What do you got, Amanda?
Okay. So I think for my 7th film,
And these are just your choices, nobody else's.
I know, but it's so hard because I know how much these mean to a lot of people, mainly you, because we are friends. All right, so let's see.
Friendship about to end if you choose the wrong damn movie. Just saying.
All right, so for me, number 7 is going to be Rocky 2. And I'll tell you why. I felt like it was a rehash of Rocky 1, right? Where we are just seeing him fight Apollo Creed and him trying to make ends meet. And boy, he is not good at delivering lines in that commercial. I was like, what the heck?
And they made him pretty stupid in that one.
Yeah, they made him pretty stupid. And I've like when I see the characterization that they've done with an older Rocky, like in Rocky Balboa, and then later on in the Creed franchise, I'm like, either Sylvester Stallone got really good with acting over the years, but
he's a solid actor. I mean, look at him in Rocky. Look at him in First Blood.
Oh, look at him in Tulsa King right now. I mean, he's a great actor. There's no doubt about it. And so for me, Rocky 2 just did not jive with me as much as I thought it would, because this is where he actually beats Apollo Creed this time. But yes, his son's born in this one, and there's that whole thing. But at the same time, yeah, for me, it just felt like a rehash of that second of the first movie. So that's where I would throw that one a little bit lower.
Okay. I love that movie. I think it's a good movie. I think Creed 2, Copland is excellent, man. Creed, like in Rocky 2, there's that scene where, and it gets me every time, where his wife wakes up out of the coma, right? And she's like, how's her baby? And he's like, I haven't seen him. I've been waiting for you to wake up, right? And the whole time she's like, I want you to give up boxing. He's not, and he's like, how can you ask me to stop being a man? It's who I am, right? So she wakes up and she's like, come here. Oh man, it gets me every time. She's like, I need you to do one thing for me. And she's like, when? And then the theme of going the distance kicks on. And then you got Mickey in the background. What are we waiting for? Oh my gosh, it gets me every time. Oh, it's so good. That's why it gets a pass. I love that. And I love that. It's so good. Delivery, the acting, and then of course the song. You got the kids running with him. That was adorable. Yes. What are we waiting for? Oh man, Burgess Meredith. What a freaking wonderful character actor. To me, this is where it got a little bit hard. But let's go ahead and share my screen. And so for me, putting Creed 2 up there.
Okay.
I love the first one. I thought the first Creed was strong. Creed 2, I don't know, it was missing something. And it should have been great, right? Because we're going with a little bit of spoilers here. One of my favorite movie characters coming back with his son. You got Bridget Nielsen coming back and doing her portrayal of his ex-wife in the stone cold delivery. And yeah, I thought that was it wasn't as good as the other. Not that it was a bad movie, by the way, because now we're going into these aren't actually bad movies. It's an actually good movie. There's a lot of hokiness in this one. The training scene was great, though. Yep, getting that. All right, man. Hear me out, though. Hear me out. Hear me out now. I did. Look, you don't see where I'm putting Creed 3 or Creed 1 yet. All right, calm down now.
Yeah.
So yeah, for me, I think that's where I would put it. Like, it wasn't a strong one as the first one. The first one to me kind of set the bar high for what a Creed movie should be.
Yeah.
All right. Now it's your turn. All
right. So for me, as far as my next ranking, for me, number 6 is going to have to be Rocky Balboa. I thought so. Rocky Balboa to me is a better definitive ending to Rocky being the boxer franchise, right? Or being the boxer, that part of the franchise, right? Much more so than Rocky 5, in my opinion. You see an aged Rocky whose wife has died of cancer and he's visiting her grave. You see him struggling to connect to his son, played by one of my favorite actors, Milo Ventimiglia, which I know Omar's like, he's okay. But I mean, I grew up with the Gilmore Girls and
Heroes. So I think
Heroes, and This Is Us. So yes, I'm a big fan of the actor. My only complaint with this one is really it's Anthony Tarver, I think, who plays Mason Dixon. I felt like he was a very lackluster, almost non-existent villain in like boxing villain for him. Like this guy did like it almost he didn't seem like the kind of guy that would call out Rocky and make Rocky come back out of retirement after God how many years at this point and decide to box again. He was not charismatic, he was not anything. And for me, when you think about these films, it's almost just as much about Rocky as it is who his his antagonists are going to be, right? And that's the same thing with the Creed franchise. It's not even just about him as much as it's about who's he going to fight in the ring when it all comes push to shove. And I felt like this guy just he was so lackluster. I mean, he had no personality. As the villain, I didn't care for him. I didn't care about him. So I was just like,
and that is hard to find though, because I mean, outside of Apollo Creed and in the latest Creed movie, villains are just kind of there, right? Like almost break you or
come on, but Drago
one-dimensional kind of character. Yeah, but still, if you think about it, it's really not that deep. Now, in the director's cut, it absolutely is. Now, this one, I hard disagree. Rocky Balboa is a masterpiece to me. I love that movie. I think it's a testament to aging and still having it. Like it's proof that you can still do it. Like he has given up everything, and there's some powerful moments in there, like where he's talking about the stuff in the basement with Paulie. It's the only movie that I think Paulie's kind of likable in, and the speech, that beautiful speech that he gives his son about life. Nothing's gonna hit you harder than life, and talking about how privileged his son is. I like the connection with him and little Marie. They didn't make, like you and I talked, they didn't make her into a love interest. She was just a character there to kind of help.
It was bordering on it, but yeah, you're right.
In this transition.
Mm-hmm.
And then the very end when he boxes and, Mason the Lion Dixon, right? Like he was like, you're a crazy old man. He's like, you'll get there. Dude, I love that. And then the scene with his when after fight's over, his son's like, that was the most beautiful thing I've ever seen. Oh man, that gets me. I love it. And then Marie telling him, go out there and show him that the last thing to age is the heart. Oh, I thought it was a great movie, and only missing Eye of the Tiger, but that's just me.
Only missing.
Oh, Chris, stop it. I didn't put Rocky Balboa in my bottom 5, just saying. Spoilers. But I'm not here to judge. That is Amanda's choice.
That is my choice. And it's hard because I tried to view these. So you've been watching these movies, since you were a child in your youth, right? And for me, I'm coming in with these, I want to say with recency bias, but also with my, a different edge to the way I view like these kind of movies, these sports action movies, right? Because I'm used to seeing more modern sport action movies that are a little bit different. So I think that makes it a little bit harder. So I tried to go in there when I was viewing these and rating them with an open mind and with that understanding in my head.
And it's a lot too. Like there's a lot of movies you watched in just a matter of days.
That is a lot of mm-hmm.
I think it's wonderful that you did, but you're crazy because my goodness, I don't know if I could Bring It On, like all 3 movies of those in a week or so.
Well, I don't even watch all those. It's just the first one. It's just one. There's just one. The rest of them don't matter. That's different.
Okay. For me, this is where Creed 3 belongs. Like I said, I really liked it. I thought it was good as a freaking directorial debut, but it was just missing a little bit or a chunk of something to make it just one of the best. And nothing more to add than what I've already said. That was good. And like I said, these aren't bad movies. It's just that it gets harder to rank them as you get to the top 5.
Oh, yeah, 100%. All right, so for my number 5.
Mm-hmm.
All right. So looking at my number 5, my number 5 is going to be Creed 3. Yeah. So no. I love this film, and I was like, okay, where does this belong? And while my recency bias would say, God, this is such a good movie, then I go back and watch the other 2 Creeds, and I was like, okay, it is really good. Jonathan Majors, I need to see more of. But there was still something like I said when I talked about my review, where there still could have been more done with him and Damien's story that I felt was left out. I felt like it was a little bit rushed to get to that fight scene, to get to the end game. And I think we missed out on some more character moments in the, middle part of the movie that we would have gotten, a little bit more of why is Mary, like, we really had to rush why Marianne was hiding the letters all this time, right? All these things we had to just rush to the conclusions of, to find out that Damien was skirting around and doing all these snake-like things behind Creed's back. But we could have taken a little bit longer to show that, in my mind. So, yeah, that's where I would throw Creed 3.
Three. Your number 5 spot. Okay. There's some good observation there. What's up, Matt? Let's Bring It On. Bring It On is like it's like the successor to Rocky in the early aughts. Gabrielle Union's in it. You know how fine she is.
Dunst is in it.
She's okay, but Gabrielle Union, come on now. What is the
rank?
Here, you're about to learn. Manny Rock. What? You're about to learn. Bring It On is the best cheerleading movie ever.
Yeah, there's no doubt about that.
Safety. Yes. If you have not seen any of these movies, by all means, please. Yes. Don't want to see any spoilers. See you tomorrow. You've not seen the Rocky movies, Torsten?
He might mean Creed 3.
Oh, yeah, we've already done. We're already done with Creed 3. We talked about it. All right, let me share my screen again and get to the next one. My number 5.
Hayden Panettiere's in one of them, and that one, when she does her dance sequence, is kind of atrocious. Okay, go on.
Rocky 2. I mentioned when you were talking about it, I think Rocky 2 had some good qualities to it. I really love the idea of his wife being in a coma and him just like being deflated, like he's nothing without her. Yeah. And then when she says win, because that's life, right? Like you can't do this on your own, but you have the back, like someone that loves you has your back. That's all that matters. And he ends up winning and he beats Creed at the end. And yes, it is a rehash, a lot of it of one, but there's still a lot of good merit to it. And Stallone, like I said, I wasn't the biggest fan of them dumbing him down so much, but it's still a solid movie. Yeah. All right, now it's your turn. Eliza Dushku.
Yeah, she was in Bring It On. Remember, she was her love interest's twin sister.
Go watch Bring It On. You're welcome.
I can't believe Omar's the one you're going to trust on whether or not to watch Bring It On. But that's fine. It's okay. Torsten is an
awesome name for a Rocky or Creed villain. Just saying, Torsten. It's my buddy who's having a movie club tomorrow on our Discord to talk about the Oscars, which I'm going to try to do.
Oh, that's right.
You're invited too.
Well, I need to get my Discord app back. Okay. All right. So number 4 for me. Let me see. Where am I at now?
There. I removed mine, so you got to share yours.
Oh, I was sharing mine. I thought I am sharing it.
Oh, my bad, girl. My bad. Okay.
Right. It says it's sharing it. Okay. So my number 4 is going to be Creed 2. I enjoyed Creed 2, and I just rewatched it for like the 3rd time. That's how much I liked it. I love just how, obviously in this one, this is where he's starting to try to go out on his own without Rocky, because him and Rocky have that disagreement about whether or not to fight Victor Drago, right?
Karate 3.
Yeah, like exactly. Yeah. So you have this conflict between him and Sylvester Stallone or Rocky. And then you also have him and Bianca dealing with, they also have the birth of their child, very similar to like Rocky 2, but in the fact that, they have this extra element they're dealing with their child, and learning to deal with the fact that she is not going to be able to probably hear for most of her life, and dealing with what that means. And he's struggling himself, trying to be a father, but also dealing with the loss that he struggled with. I mean, Victor could have almost killed him, but he was disqualified. And then, that training montage, like you said, of him, going down to Mexico and training. And it was awesome. And then he goes in and fights. And I do like that we see later on him and Victor become buddies in Creed 3. So I like that is the end game here. But yeah, Creed 2 to me is my number 4 on the list.
Okay. Now my 4. So let's go ahead and present this. And so now we're at top 4. Now this is when it got hard for me because
I know.
top 3, man, these movies mean a lot to me. So, but again, it's just my list. So Creed, that's where I'm putting Creed. I loved it. Michael B. Jordan came in very charismatic. It's a good legacy movie. Sure, it borrowed a lot of elements from Rocky, but then so did Rocky 2, 3, 4, 5, and Balboa. So I was okay with it. And a lot of good speeches, you know. If I fight, you fight. When he's talking about giving up for cancer because his wife died of cancer.
Oh, I love that.
And he's like, I don't, you know, I've seen this fight before and what it does to you. And he's like, well, I'm not going to fight if you don't fight. That was so powerful, man. And, you know, there's an awesome mix in the score of getting stronger in, what was it, Childish Gambino's Lord Knows. And I thought that was a really good score. It was a powerful film, and he came in strong. So yeah, number 4 for a movie that I'm like, really, they're gonna make a Creed movie? Like, what? It worked. It worked.
It worked.
Thank you so much, Colin. It worked for me.
All right. So my number 3. Now we're getting to the wire. So our top 3, right? All right. This might be controversial.
It's going to get hard, Amanda.
It is. This might get controversial, but for me,
oh my gosh, Balboa on what? All right, go ahead. Is your list?
It's gonna be Rocky 4. It's gonna be my number 3. I know.
Ever isn't well. Okay, you know what? It made it to your top 3.
It's because he thought he could break down the Cold War with that speech. Because I saw you guys at the beginning, and maybe y'all didn't like me so much, but then by the end, you all liked me, and maybe we could all just get along. Clearly, it didn't work because look what happened to Creed 2. I mean,
can change.
Dragos was like apparently just sent off to the Ukraine once the Soviet Union just went, and like what? It didn't work. Like
he dies. He died. Come on, man! Apollo Creed comes into.
I know. Obviously, without this movie, we wouldn't get the Creed movies. So I do acknowledge that. But for me, Rocky 4 is my number 3.
All right. I'm not here to judge you.
Maybe because of that.
I'll take care of that later.
Okay.
Amanda blowing my mind worse than Omar. Wait a minute, dude.
We all got stuff. Hot takes up in this joint tonight.
Can we rank the cheerleaders and bring it on? Oh my gosh, it is my birthday month. I've never seen one of them movies though, man. All right, here's my list. My top 3. This is where it gets hard for me. But Rocky Balboa. I love this film. Like, I think this is a freaking masterpiece. It shows you that even though you're old, you can still do things. Like it has that feeling that you feel when you watch Rocky, and the older you get, the more you watch this, and you're like, man, I feel like him. I mean, Creed 3 in a way was like that when he was like, oh, I'm 40 now, man. Got this calcium buildup, and I'm like, damn, I'm older than that. What does that mean? Like, I need to go get checked, man.
You should, just a game.
Shut up. But Balboa, man, it killed it. I loved it. I thought it was a great movie. I cried a few times, man. It was beautiful. Like him going on a date, torturing himself, going to all these spots with him and Adrienne. You get a flashback of her, and you hear Adrienne's theme, and Polly saying, this is torture to me. I don't want to do this anymore. And he's like, why not? And he was like, because you were always nice to her. I was a piece of shit to her. And he realized what he was. And he had, like I said, this is about the only movie that has Paulie as a good character, right? Because he's always been kind of an ass. Oh, not always. Not kind of. Always.
Always.
But in this, he has a lot of good lines. Like when he's talking about, you stay at a place long enough. He's talking about work, right? Stay at a place long enough, you become that place. Then he gets fired, and it's like, what do I do? Then he talks about the stuff in the basement. He's like, you got to get that stuff out, Rocco. Oh, I thought it was great, man. It's such a good movie. I loved it. I see this at least once a year, and I still tear up, especially that scene that you just showed where he's talking to his son about, like, don't blame other people. Like, it's I live by this speech. It's so good, man. Like, it hits you. Like, and the older you get, it does suck, like how much life hits. Mm-hmm. All right. Your turn, Panda.
All right.
Two more.
My last two. All right. So I know everyone just like, oh gosh. All right. So my number two.
No, nobody's judging you. Everybody's cool. Everybody's cool here, right?
Is gonna be
cool, right?
Yeah, it's gonna be Creed, the original, the first Creed. Obviously, so yes, it may have been like a different take on Rocky, but what it did is it introduced Rocky to a new generation. It took the franchise forward in a new direction, and it did all of that tremendously well. It showcased Sylvester Stallone, in my mind, as one of his best acting in this franchise. So much so it earned him an Oscar nomination for Best Supporting Actor the year this came out. So, I mean, the whole cancer, storyline where what he did and how he helped Creed and Creed's own insecurities that he's dealing with. I just really loved the way this movie played out. I loved how it brought in him and Bianca's relationship, because it was, very reminiscent of Rocky, how it's not just about him and, just learning to love who he is and accept who he is, and, accept that Apollo Creed was his father and that he is proving it to himself he's not a mistake, right? All that stuff.
Love that delivery, man. That was good. When he's like, what are you out there trying to prove? It's like that I'm not a mistake. Oh, delivery was so good, man.
Yes.
Yeah, I agree with you. It's solid.
Yeah. And then of course, and then his relationship with Bianca, it's so organic. And that's a testament to the natural chemistry that Tessa Thompson and Michael B. Jordan have. But without this film, I just feel like we wouldn't have been able to get to the Creed 3 that we just watched.
That is correct, because one comes before 2 and 3.
Well, yes, but we not at the level of talent and the level of storytelling that we would have gotten if it not for this film. So in my mind, that's where this one hits, is number 2.
Yeah, I just rewatched 1 and 2. They're both solid flicks. One is up there for me though. So leaving my 2, and I mean, this is where you really get to find out what our number 1 is. Rocky. Rocky is perfection, and I'm not here to say like why it's not my number 1. Well, because it's my list. My number 1 means a lot to me. Rocky is phenomenal. It deserved the Oscar. It was great. The fact that Sylvester Stallone refused to sell the script when he couldn't afford to feed his fucking dog. And he was like, no, because I would regret it for the rest of my life if I sold it and somebody else played Rocky. Because the studio, they were eyeing, was it Khan, I think? James Khan. And he was like, no, it's got to be me. It's got to be me or nobody else. And there's just so much in here. Burgess Meredith, phenomenal character actor. That part where he goes and grabs his hat and doesn't pick up his hat and he goes back to it. Oh my gosh. And the small little things like where Rocky, and this was a mistake by production, where he goes to the ring the day before the fight and he's talking to the guy that's cleaning. And he's like, they got my colors backwards on my shorts, on my trunks. And he's like, well, that doesn't really matter, does it? And just that thought of like,
I know,
like it's not gonna matter, right? And he still gets up and goes the distance. Oh man, I love that movie. What's up, Jeff? Dude, I have been feeling so crappy today, and we got a big box from you, my brother. We're gonna open it up on Saturday. Nostalgia goes a long way, my brother. Nostalgia goes a long way. Like I said, Rocky's still a great movie. It's a masterpiece. It's a perfect movie. I love it. It's one that I watch over and over and over again. But man, and then when you realize that it's not a boxing movie, right? It's about that beautiful scene at the end where he's like yelling Adrian, and it doesn't matter that all these hundreds of people are, or they're supposed to be in the film, but really there weren't that many extras. But they're just pushing them around because it doesn't matter. It's about them. It's about Adrian and Rocco. Oh man, what a phenomenal movie! Love it, masterpiece. So I mean, everybody knows my number 1 now, but
everyone knows my number 1.
Let's talk about your number 1 then, which is,
of course, the original Rocky. So when I remember first watching this, and I was like, okay, I see why this won Best Picture in 1976, and not just only because, and maybe for me it's a little bit of nostalgia, but to me it's not only a love story between him and Adrian, but it's a love story for like Philadelphia. This boxer from these humble origins of this blue collar, city, and what he can achieve. He's just, trying to make it during the day and just wants to be a boxer at night. And then, he's given
his age too, right? Like
yeah,
he's
right.
older.
Exactly. And he's able to, he's able to go round for round with Apollo Creed. And there's just thing about this film that I absolutely enjoyed. And I can see why without this film, we wouldn't have the franchise that we have today. I mean, and Philly wouldn't have the recognition that it has today. Well, maybe it would have, but not in the same way.
Well, if you think about it, we wouldn't have Karate Kid. We wouldn't have that franchise because it's the exact same plot, right? Practically, including they were going to use "You're the Best" in Rocky 3, but hey, when they heard "Eye of the Tiger," it's game over for that song. I agree. I'm so glad you liked it. It's so dirty and gritty.
Well, that's what I liked about it too, right? I mean, obviously, as you can see, as the Rocky films got old, like once you got to 2, 3, 4, the level of quality of film, like what they were going for changed a little bit. But I do like that down and gritty filmmaking that they and style and look to this film that the other films really didn't have. I mean, God, when you start adding, by Rocky 3, when we got Hulk Hogan and stuff, you definitely weren't going to get that gritty feeling and that down home feeling of this is a Philadelphia film. This is more so than anything else. So that I think is what made Rocky stand out from all the others, and that's why it continues to be my favorite of the franchise.
And I'm so happy. My boss, he was in 1 and 2. He passed away of cancer. So in every Rocky movie, I don't think in Creed, but in every Rocky movie at the very, very end, because I love watching the end credits because I love those songs as a kid. There's a dedication, respectfully dedicated as always, to Jane Oliver. And like when I was a kid, I'm like, who's Jane Oliver? Every one of the Rocky movies. So Jane Oliver was Sylvester Stallone's first personal manager, and she passed away of cancer at the age of 46, right before Rocky came out, or before they started filming. And he was always indebted to her for helping him kickstart his career. So every Rocky movie, that was in the anthology book when I had the DVD set.
That's awesome.
I finally found out who it was. Yes. Right? We didn't even talk about that. The beauty of Rocky is he doesn't even win.
Yeah, exactly.
But it's not about that. It's about going the distance, right? And having someone that believes in you. Oh, what a wonderful movie. All right. But screw that movie because we're talking about my number 1.
I had a feeling that
Rocky 4 is the greatest cinematic movie ever. Oh my God, it's everything. Let me keep in mind it's 1985, right? So we're in Cold War. Everybody's like, oh, the Russians are gonna come and kill us, right? They're gonna send missiles our way. You know who can fix this? Rocco. Oh my God, dude. I love this movie. Everything about this movie, the training montage. I'm like, every movie, I'm like, he pulls a fucking truck through snow, dude. Oh, and when Talia shows up, when Adrian shows up, and he gets that spirit back, and he's got that bearded look, and he's running, and he's like lifting her and everybody, and Duke and everybody, and Paulie. I was like, that is so badass. I want to go work out right now. Like that soundtrack alone. Oh, I love that movie. I'm not drunk, Chris. I love this. I tell you that sober, man. I love Rocky 4. Rocky 4 is the best 80s action movie music video ever. Fact. Absolute fact.
Yes, exactly.
Vince Nicola doing the music for Rocky 4. Also did the movie or the soundtrack for Transformers the movie. Yes, sir. Yes. We got a super chat here from Jack. I need some
fanfic.
Rocky fanfic. Okay, Amanda, you're on top of that, right?
I got some Creed fanfic for you.
Okay, easy.
Him and Damien. It might
be Creed and Paulie.
No, Polly. Polly is like forbidden. Like from
I think in the Creed universe he's gone already.
Yeah, I think he had passed away at that point, and didn't
worse. Even when he has a distraction wife to keep him occupied, right? Like the robot, which by the way, Stallone hated. So in the director's cut, he got rid of that thing. Now it is weird when I talk about the timeline, right? Because if you think about it, when he left to go to Russia in Rocky 4, right? His son, his Rocky, was what, like 5, 6, and then when he comes back, he's a teenager. So you're like, what the hell? As a kid, I was like, how long did he spend in Russia? Like, so sometimes you just got to take with a grain of salt. That they didn't really think about that one too much. But actually, Rocky 5 is the only movie that he's ever, or the first time you hear his name, his son calls him Robert
Yep.
Rocky Balboa. And every other movie was Rocky. Let's see.
Yep.
Rocky 4 is pure 80s in the best way. Rocky 4 and Rocky 5 are severely underrated. I think Rocky 5 is. Rocky 4 gets a lot of love, especially from people my age. They love it.
It really does. Yeah.
I begged my mother to buy the Rocky box set when it was on VHS. Yes, you had to call the 800 number to order it. I wrote the number down so she could order it for me. So, and at that time, it was only 5, right? Rocky 1 through 5. Absolutely, brother. I was the same way. Now, we do have somebody emailed their ranking. Travis, I guess everybody else was shy. Do it. But here's Travis's from worst to least. So, Rocky 5. Rocky, he's not a fan of Rocky. Creed.
No.
Then Rocky 3, Rocky 2, Rocky Balboa, Creed 2, and Rocky 4. Hell yeah. Okay, you get a pass for putting Rocky so low on your list, but Rocky 4 is amazing. So thank you for sending that our way.
Yes, we appreciate that. And if anyone else has their rankings and they want to send them, make sure you send them so we can either put them on the chat today or we'll put them on social media tomorrow.
Oh, we will?
Oh, yeah.
You heard that. You heard that, right? But that was our ranking, and that was our score for Rocky 3. Rocky video game on the PS2 was awesome. Near Mint Condition, sponsored by Papa John's. Sure, I'll take it. I would get roasted. Come on, Jack. Show me your list. Don't be scared.
Jack, put it out there. Let's see it.
Let's see your list, Jack.
I see it to believe it.
And I remember the Rocky box set, man, on VHS. Happy birthday, Paulie. Then it starts breaking down into that song. Yeah, man. It's good. It's a lot of good things in it. Pulls a truck through snow, dude. If I can change, you can change. Dude, he stopped the Cold War. Who else has done that?
Not. It took 5 more years for Gorbachev to break the wall down.
He's like, oh, I believe that man. I believe that man.
I think a lot of other factors broke the Soviet Union.
Dude, the entire soundtrack of Rocky 4 is amazing. What is your favorite scene of all the movies? Ooh, that's a hard one. I think it probably, for me, it's the Rocky Balboa scene with his son. That's a
great scene.
That's a phenomenal scene. Acting and, that long take. It was great, man. What about you, Amanda?
What my favorite scene in the entire...
if you had to choose one scene of any Rocky movie or Creed.
Yeah, I mean, for me, it probably would be. I mean, that's a great scene. I like that scene I like that scene a lot. But I think there's I think my favorite scene probably is going to be in the original Creed when Sylvester Stallone and Creed are kind of talking about fighting this thing and they're having that difficulty. I think that might be my favorite scene.
When he's like, cut the gloves. I gotta go take a shit.
Well, honestly, that made me laugh so loud. I remember it. So I was like, well, I was not expecting that. And I do like that they kind of touch on that later on when I think it was Bianca asked him if he had to take a shit. And he's like,
oh, yeah. I think it was in Creed 2 when she asked.
In Creed 2, like, yeah, I can take a shit. Yeah.
There's some Rocky trivia from our buddy Bert. Talia Shire, who portrays Adrian, is Nicolas Cage and Sophie Ford Coppola's aunt.
She was in Godfather, right?
Yes, Talia Shire was, and sister of Francis Ford Coppola. Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Thank you for that, DBC All-Star. My ranking had the Papa John's on the right hand. I couldn't get rid of that ad. I'm sorry.
Oh, you just had to go into presentation mode. I'll show you, Omar. It's fine.
You don't have to show me, dude. I'm all whack. They drew First Blood. Yes, I love that movie, man. Living in America. That entire soundtrack is solid, dude. And it's got Eye of the Tiger, because keep in mind, that's kind of how it starts, too. Eye of the Tiger.
Yeah.
We need a Thunder Lips and Drago crossover. No, we do not. Chris. No,
why? I feel like Hulk Hogan, hasn't he been canceled? Can we not do another Hulk? I feel like
him too? I can't talk about anybody, man. Really?
Well, we have the Hulk Hogan movie coming out with Chris Hemsworth that he got super. That's why he looks so super jacked in Thor 4 is because he had also did a biopic on Hulk Hogan.
I had no idea. Okay.
I wonder if I have to look that up if that's still in the works because he's taking a break now from acting. But he was filming a Hulk Hogan movie.
Hmm.
Yeah.
Didn't Rocky get remarried or something? No, man. Every movie he ends up at Adrian's grave. Even
I
at the
love
end, Rocky Balboa, I love that. He was like, "Yo, Adrian, we did it." Because he's used to saying, "I did it," right? Oh, breaks a grown man's heart. I love those movies. In Venture Brothers, there's a great Rocky Game of Thrones Drago confusion. Oh, because of Drago from Game of Thrones?
Oh, okay. So that's so interesting.
So, Omar, my favorite scene and the one I remember the most in Rocky 4, because of course it is a great scene. Every part of that movie is just the dynamic between Drago and Creed. Then when Creed hits the madness trainee's face, Duke's face when he's not getting up, he's like, throw in the towel! Throw in the towel! Oh, man. David Arquette is the best WWE wrestler. I don't know. I did see that Jake Gyllenhaal was doing some UFC fighting, so anything is possible.
Yeah, he is. What's that about? What's for a movie,
Dude,
right?
No, I don't know. I think sometimes Hollywood people get bored, but I mean that's what happened to Mickey Rooney, and that's why his ears are all messed up, and why he had to get some like plastic surgery.
No, it's called Roadhouse. He's doing a movie called Roadhouse.
Like they're remaking Roadhouse with Patrick Swayze? Never mind.
Yeah, it is a remake. Yeah, it is a remake. You're right. Yeah.
Oh my God. All right. Never mind. I'm not even asking why. All right. Worst to best. The Italian Stallion. So Rocky 1 is the worst one, right? That's what you're saying.
Okay.
Rocky 2, Rocky 3. Wow, ouch. Rocky 2, Rocky 5, Rocky Balboa, Creed.
Ooh,
Creed. The Italian Stallion. Is the Italian Stallion the director's cut, brother? And Creed 3 and Rocky 4. Okay. You good. We good again. Creed 3, you liked it that much, huh?
Not Creed 3. I know, and it's hard because at first I wanted to put it up really high, and I was like, okay, take a step back, Amanda. Just watch it. And yes, I want to watch it again because it did. I mean, yes, it really got to me. But I was like, okay, just think about it. Be logical. Okay. So that's how I ended up with the rating.
No, we're not logical with our rankings. Did you not hear me go on my Rocky?
No, I understand. Yours is pure nostalgia because I was like, oh, he's not going to put any Creed in his top 3. There's no way a Creed.
I almost did. I put Creed in number 4. It was a great movie. But come on, when you got Rocky 4, and Balboa, no dice.
He got changed in the Soviet Union.
Thank you. If it wasn't for him, we'd all be dead. Omar, thanks for sharing how difficult to make Rocky 1 has parallels to Rocky's path towards the title in the first 2 movies. Absolutely, man. There's a lot of beauty behind that movie. Like, it's crazy that how he, would not give up. Make sure that he got to play the role, and it worked. Oh my God. Can you imagine? Like, I like James Caan, but I can't imagine anybody else playing Rocky. Not only that, but he also plays freaking Rambo, John Rambo.
Oh, I know. Yeah. There's some things. Okay, what?
Yes, it does.
Can we just okay, everyone's talking about this Italian Stallion. It's an adult film?
Yes. I like that. That's your worst one. It's an adult film. Yes. I didn't know what you were talking about. Gotcha.
I didn't know that people joked that was a thing. I did not know that.
It was a thing. Stallone and I share the same birthday, but not the same year, right, brother? No way the same year. And Rocky 5 is the worst, but it's still solid. Right. Even that had some merit. It had some heart. The Italian Stallion is a softcore porn that he did prior to the first Rocky and was retitled like that to sell the movie with his fame. So there you go. Now, Arnold was also in a movie with 2 ladies. That's the movie I was talking about last week when I'm like, well, maybe we should rate that. Dude, it was the 70s. Everybody was into this.
I know.
If I recall right, in the 5th grade or the 4th, I thought Rocky was real and picked him for an athlete. That's so adorable. Or something that was important. So my teacher told me it's just a movie. Damn, she shot you down.
Yeah, that's a shame.
Was there a Rocky musical?
Was there? I feel like there was.
Here, what's porn? It's that thing that you watch on your phone for about 2.5 minutes in the bathroom when you're supposed to be in class. You know what I'm talking about? That's all you need. 2.5 good minutes.
Wow,
I don't think it was a Rocky musical.
No, there was a Rocky musical that came out in 2012. It premiered in Hamburg and opened on Broadway in 2014. It's based on the original film. I would love to see. I need to look up the music for that musical and see what that.
It better have Hearts on Fire. Omar list shows that he has pure love for this amazing. Thank you so much. I do, man. I really like the character. Was it really that bad? Heroes season 2. Yes, it
Yes,
was.
it was. But we could do.
Brother. 2 minutes too much. I mean,
we should rank all the heroes.
Younger. Go ahead. Rank all the heroes.
No, just all the heroes and heroes, like on their powers. Like, who's the best? And why is it always Zachary Quinto?
I hated that they changed the character of Zyler. What was his name?
Silas.
Yeah. Like, at first you're like, oh, this dude's creepy. He's eating people's brains. And then you're like, no, he's just looking inside their head. Whatever.
Yeah, I know.
But the minute you introduce a character that can regenerate and another character that can take people's blood, you're like, oh, nobody can die in this show. Yay.
Okay, you need to find the musical for the music for
Rocky?
this. There's a song called Adrian, My Nose Ain't Broken, Patriotic. I don't even know what that is.
I'm listening to it tomorrow if it's on Spotify.
Southside Celebrity. Oh, dang. This is so exciting now. I'm going to listen to this music.
Did Gotham come out? You talking about the Gotham
referring
show?
to the show with the guy from the OC.
It's on Spotify, the Rocky Broadway.
Oh, okay, I want to listen to
Oh
this.
my God, they got songs that ain't down yet. My nose ain't broken. Raining. Patriotic. Oh, that might be from Rocky. Okay, wow, there's a lot of songs in here. Okay, I'm listening to this.
Yeah, that's interesting. Now we went down a rabbit hole. Thank you, whoever mentioned that.
Omar, do you have I don't have the issues anymore. The Order of Battle featuring Rocky. That was wild when it came out. Rocky was supposed to be in G.I. Joe. Then they changed. Yeah, I think they changed it to the fridge, right? That's who they put. Was it really that bad, the OC? I think now you're just catering to your host.
Yes, and we could talk about that, but yes.
No, we cannot. Omar and Amanda going to have run their rankings back after they watch the music. Right? What if the musical just blows my mind? I'm like, forget everything I just said.
Man, the guy who wrote the musical did Ragtime. Great. I mean, Seussical the musical. He did that. He wrote the music for it.
Wait, what else? Say League of Their Own?
No. My Favorite Year, Ragtime, Seussical the musical. He did the musicals for those. He also did the film scores for Anastasia. I'm assuming the animated one.
So have that issue. You do. That's awesome, brother. Why was it really that good? Transformers the movie. You know, Amanda has actually seen Transformers. We went to the theater to go see it. She loved it.
Did I?
She immediately bought it on iTunes. She's like, I will watch this every week, once a week. Yeah, she fell in love with it. I can't blame her, right?
Did you look like Seth Cohen? Seth Cohen was my favorite character on the OC. I love it.
Oh my God, no, we're not.
Oh gosh.
I surely am not catering, dear sir. The OC was something I legitimately look forward to. I was Seth Cohen minus the women fighting over.
I'm excited for Shazam too, to get to see more Adam Brody.
It's sad that I actually know that.
Yeah, exactly.
we were watching the movie together. You were like,
I was so
excited. Rocky the Musical, from the people who brought you Avenue Q. Is that right?
Jack, so.
Jack, what are you? 12? I know you're young, man, but don't do that. Don't do that to yourself.
Oh my goodness. Don't. Oh wow. So do we yeah.
What's up?
Do you have any movie news to discuss?
James Gunn, DC, James Gunn.
Not that stuff, but
Ant-Man Quantumania performing really poorly. I did see that, which is sad.
Yeah, it dropped after.
How bad is it though? Like, how bad is it performing? Like, bad enough for them to go, oh, or like, hey, yeah, we'll run it, dude. Yes, I shared that with Amanda. John Bernthal reprising the role of Punisher. Or at least he put a thing on social media. That
doesn't matter. That means he is. Yes, I'm super excited about it. It's fine.
Oh, I beg to differ. I remember a certain Henry Cavill posting himself on social media with a costume and John Williams score in the background, and nothing happened. So, okay, congratulations, Jack.
I think we remember talking to him. Yeah, no, Barenthal's back. Very excited for that. Apparently, Patty Jenkins and Kevin Feige's projects in the Star Wars franchise are dead.
Dang, so I really wanted to watch the Rogue Squad.
Me too, Rogue Squadron, yeah.
Top Gun. That's Top Gun in space. Why would you not want to watch that?
I know. I mean, I don't know if maybe they're going with a different direction. Maybe someone else is gonna be writing it, but for right now, it's
Is $400 million worldwide consider a bust these days?
for a Marvel movie. It's all about perspective, right? How do we
Well,
look
how
at?
well did the other two Ant-Man movies do?
So let's see. Let's look at the other Ant-Man movie. So Ant-Man.
Oh, it is 100% confirmed by the Hollywood Reporter.
Yeah,
Shout
it's
out to the Hollywood Reporter.
yeah.
My friend.
I don't think Marvel would do that at what happened with the DC stuff. So let's see. So domestically, Ant-Man at its final had made 180, right? Domestically, 300 or 519 worldwide. So right now, it's still performing at the level of the original Ant-Man. So I wouldn't say it's necessarily the worst. It's just the way it's performed from its opening day. Like it had a better opening day than I believe both Ant-Man and Ant-Man and the Wasp, right? It's opening weekend, I mean. But it had a very large drop, like one of the largest in MCU history from week 1 to week 2, which means that people aren't doing repeat viewings, which means that word of mouth. So those people who aren't really big Marvel fans like you and me and anyone else in the chat who will go see these movies on opening weekend, they're saying, okay, the reviews weren't so good. I'll wait till it comes out on streaming. Because Disney is kind of still kicking themselves in the foot now with the fact that they're still releasing like 45 days after it comes out in theaters on Disney Plus. So
I wonder why that is. Is that to recoup a loss or something?
I don't know what. Well, I know that was Bob Chapek's, the former CEO who just was run out, and they've replaced with Bob Iger again.
No Karen, no Foggy.
I hope they do. I love Foggy. I love that actor, so I do hope he comes back. But I think what it is that he was really trying to put all his eggs in the Disney Plus basket, and which is why they were throwing so much into the streaming, like Pixar movies that should have went to theaters went to streaming, and I think that's why they still have that window. And other studios like Universal were also doing 45 days, then we'll take it to streaming, take it to digital, instead of like I think it was like 90 or a little bit longer beforehand. So
okay,
yeah.
Omar, just watched your top 20 reprint poll, and man, I was happy. My top 6 were in it, and 4 of them are in the top 10. Now, come on, Marvel, and bring them out. Good luck, man. Wow, Patty Jenkins was found to be difficult to work with, and many people feel the way she passed the buck for failure of Wonder Woman 84 was a sign she could not make a good partner. $200 million budget, double that for marketing. It's broke even. That's not good.
Yeah, I think it's all about perspective, right? What determines success. Hey, Kane.
Have you seen the Vice television series that just premiered this week, Icons Unleashed? No, but I love Vice, man. Or at least I used to when it was on HBO. How do you mess up a movie based on the 80s? Which one?
Which one are we talking about?
Because Creed did well, right? The 84, Wonder Woman 84.
Oh man, that was a rough movie.
Did we do that one together?
We did not, but I don't think we ever. Did you ever review that?
I don't think we did. We were on
it came out. Well, it came out during the pandemic too.
Yeah, but I think we watched it at home, right?
Yes, I did. I watched it on Christmas Day, and I fell asleep during it. Probably because I had too much Chinese food, but yeah, I fell asleep during that film on my couch.
Yeah, I fell asleep too. It was bad.
We should do really bad at some point.
Yeah, we should. Maybe after my birthday month. All right. Omar and Amanda, which song do you appreciate more than The Touch? By Stan Bush from Transformers. Not a lot, brother. Or Living in America by James Brown from Rocky IV.
He's saying which one if you had to choose.
Oh, Touch. Come on. Bert, are you serious? Yes. And Marky Mark, when he sings it in Boogie Nights, it's awesome because he's so off key. He's like, you got the touch. Oh, it's so awful. But I love The Touch, man. Yes, of course. Amanda, answer the right answer, please.
I would probably pick The Touch as well, Bert, because I mean, though Living in America, I do kind of the song.
Yeah. Oh, it's good. It's good.
It's good, but I'll give it to The Touch.
Jack Pierre saying they should let me make a Star Wars movie or show.
It should make me. I can make a Star Wars
stream this weekend. That is this weekend, right?
You know what else comes out this weekend? 65 with Adam Driver. I'm very excited.
I want to watch. Oh, yes. Dude,
it's your birthday weekend this weekend.
You say that like that's a problem.
Well, I know because we can't go Saturday night because.
Dude, I'll go. Oh,
During your party, you'll go, guys, come back. We're all going to go.
We'll go.
No, what you do is say, guys, we're doing a road trip. We're all going to go to the local theater and we're all going to watch.
And nobody's going to agree to that. Nobody.
Why? It's that or 80s karaoke. It's that or 80s karaoke. Anyway.
Have you met my friend?
Let's not forget, Sunday is the Oscars, which.
And the last episode of Last
of Us. So I will be taking a break from watching the Oscars to watch The Last of Us because let's face it, the Oscars are going to get boring around that 9 o'clock. So it'll be a perfect time to take a break and watch what I hear is going to be a very divisive season finale for Last of Us from what I've been hearing.
Don't say anything else. I
don't know. They just, that's the teaser. News outlets. It's just teasing us.
Hey, y'all, I'm finished reading a bunch of comics. Good for you, Kane. That's what's up. Maybe we should go back and revisit that. First episode ran from Howard the Duck to Roger Corman, Fantastic Four. They titled the episode Marvel Phase Zero. Oh, okay. Now I'm curious. Omar should push Hasbro to announce Studio Series 86 Optimus Prime because it's his birthday month, right? Anybody, if I've not got the pool, might as well do it. Omar, happy 100th birthday. Thank you, Jack, my young brother that I didn't want. Omar's birthday means Omar gets what Omar.
That's what I was saying. I mean, if he said jump, everyone would be like, how high?
Thank you, Amanda. That's a true friend, everybody, because she has. Kylo Ren fighting dinosaurs, right? Omar Centurion. Oh my gosh. Omar, did David Gabriel approve the album? No, he did not. He texted me. He's in New York this week, and he's like, I got your list. Let's see what we can do. Very interested to see how they handle the finale of The Last of Us. Me too.
Yeah.
Me too, because they can incorporate aspects of The Last of Us 2, and people will be mad, or I don't know. We'll see.
They said it's going to be divisive, but I don't know what Pedro Pascal's plans are for the next few years. I mean, clearly he can phone it in for The Mandalorian.
I hope it is to live.
No, I know, but I mean, like
most of us.
What kind of works does he has lined up? So.
Oh man, he ain't running out. He's like America's sweetheart right now, or the internet sweetheart, or something. I'll spoil what I read on Saturday. Tonight is Amanda's night to shine. No,
it's fine. You're more than welcome to spoil it. It's not my night. It's fine.
Oh, thank you. It is her time. This is her show. All right. Is there anything else we need to talk about?
No, that's it. So,
Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, the Seth Rogen thing. Did you see the trailer?
I've not watched the trailer for the new Ninja Turtles.
I like the animation style. Not the biggest fan of Seth Rogen, but I like the animation style.
You are not a Seth Rogen fan. Me, I am a Seth Rogen fan.
God bless you.
Did someone say he's America's daddy? Oh, you're talking about Pedro Pascal, Griffin X? Yeah, that's true. He is America's.
Oh, yes. And our Discord has a movie club on the Oscars Best Picture tomorrow at 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. It's by invitation only, so you got to wear your best suit or nothing at all.
How am I invited to that?
It's on Discord. You're like you're a name and condition Discord.
Okay.
Do I remember your password? No.
No, I said, am I a super member?
Yeah, you're whatever. You're whatever.
Yes, but yeah, so next week is going to be a crazy week because not only will we probably have the Oscars to talk about, which I don't think will be as insane as last year's Oscars, because certain people were not invited back. And let's face it, the nominees so far don't seem like they're the kind of people who are going to start anything. So it'll probably...
Have you seen Kate Blanchett get upset?
No, but I did see. I've already seen. Mainly, the theme of this year's Oscars has been what is allowed and what is not allowed to campaign for the Oscars. That's the theme of this year's Oscar, which just goes to show you what the how the voting really works with the Oscars and who really decides all this stuff. And it's kind of disappointing. From the whole to Leslie with the Andrea, with her, how she did like a grassroots campaign for herself because they had, the film did because they had no money. But then the Oscars like, how did she get nominated in the Best Actress category? Well, is it any different than Disney or Paramount being like, you gotta vote for our film and shoving all their money at it? I mean, no. In my mind, it's not.
I don't think so. I think it's kind of the same. Any word from Disney about how Jeremy Renner's accident will affect any future Hawkeye-related plans, and as Disney clamped down on the stars under contract and their extracurricular, you can't snowplow Jeremy Renner. Apparently, he must have been on his contract from now on. I don't know, brother. I know that he's doing a new show, right? It premieres soon on Disney.
He has renovations, which he already filmed, which looks really cool because it looks like what he's doing is he's bought like a ton of these trailers and old like RVs, and he's repurposing them for different communities around the world that they can utilize them for different community projects and things like that, which is going to be a really interesting thing. But it's already been filmed, right? And it was a live act. It's like a documentary style, like real or reality show kind of thing. The only thing I was worried about is Mayor of Kingstown.
Right, because that's on season 2.
Yeah, which is airing right now, but what's going to happen in season 3? I know it's not as action-packed. Well, he's got action sequences.
Did he, I'm sorry, and I really don't know. Did he get to keep his leg?
Yeah, he's been doing a lot of physical therapy. He posts on Instagram constantly of him doing physical therapy on his legs to build back up his muscle strength and things like that. I mean, in my mind, I didn't think we'd see Hawkeye in the same capacity again for a while.
Right, he's older now, losing his hearing, and we've got Kate Bishop, right?
Yeah, we have Kate Bishop. So I wasn't expecting it'd be like, in my mind, several years, and by then he would have recovered, right?
Maybe they need a steel cage at the Oscars. Did you see the Chris Rock stand-up? I did.
Interesting.
Yeah. I still find him funny after all these years. Certain people sounded loaded, Amanda. You're one slip up away from saying those people were not invited.
What did I say? Now I don't remember.
certain people. Playing it safe. Off topic, Omar and Amanda, what was the fastest you read an omnibus cover to cover? One day, Miles Morales omnibus. What about you, Amanda? You read fast too.
I do. Probably I'd say 2 days. 2 days. Because I've never been, since comics aren't my first reading medium, it always had taken me a while to get used to reading and looking at the artwork at the same time, right? I'm used to a novel. I can do in a day. That's no problem. Lord of the Rings, you got it. But
you can't do no damn Lord of the Rings in one day.
If you give it to me, I can. That Harry Potter, anything long.
No. There's a big difference between Lord of the Rings with 5 pages of like, here are all the Hobbit's feet. It's the history of the Hobbit's feet. Okay?
Well, I'll get through the majority of it. I love the Lord of the Rings novels.
I do too, but that book took me a damn long time. So yes, one for modern stuff. He's been in intense physical therapy. He seems to be doing well. Good for him. Amanda, what's your favorite novel?
That's a loaded question. In terms of what? Because there's classics that I absolutely love, and then there's modern novels that I truly enjoy as well. So it's really difficult.
Give me 5 novels for Deserted Island.
God,
5 novels.
What do I got on my?
Get your show.
Okay,
Harry Potter, Half-Blood Prince.
So at least all 3 Lord of the Rings novels.
But you can read them in one day. Why don't you take 4?
No, but yeah, I could still. God, I love those. I've listened to the audiobooks of them so many times, in addition to reading them. Because
we ain't got electricity on this island, Amanda.
I know. So I'm going to have to read them. Is my thing. What other novels do I supremely enjoy? Let's see. I really loved The Great Gatsby as far as a classic novel. That was one of my favorites when I read in college. You doing our gift? We did because we left up our.
I'm just using the gifts, man.
That's my favorite one.
Okay. No, this is my best. This is the best one.
Oh my
God.
If I want to be like, I have to say, like, it's hard. If I want to be entertained on an island, it would be like the Lord of the Rings and the Harry Potter, and I'd be fine. Because those are things I can read all the time.
Not Lord of the Flies or Hatchet or books that might actually help you survive on this island.
No, I don't need that stuff to help me survive on the island. I'll know how to survive because my husband's a survivalist. And then
your husband ain't going with you. Did you not hear the rules?
But I know. I listen. While I'm reading in bed, he's watching videos on how to survive in the wild. That stuff permeates in my mind. And so I know. So I don't need those books. I just need things to entertain me to pass the time.
The first night, all you're doing is burning your books because you're cold. You're like, I can't start a fire. I don't know what to do. I grew up.
I'm gonna turn one into a Wilson volleyball.
And I get that reference. Forrest Gump. And have the floppies. Oh, it was so nostalgic.
You say Forrest Gump, or did you mean Castaway?
That is dangling fruit. Have you checked out the new Justice Society miniseries? DC has returned Huntress to her roots. Again, being the daughter of Batman and Catwoman who's time traveled from the future to save the JSA. No, I haven't. Is that the one that Jeff Johns is co-writing? I could survive on an island by myself. I saw Castaway. Okay, Amanda. I know to find a man in the world. That should be reading the Lord of the Rings.
You should see the stock of MREs in our garage.
They are ready for the zombie apocalypse.
It doesn't sound tasty in my mind, but I guess if
you gotta eat, it's better than eating people, right?
Exactly. Yes, we learned that in Last of Us.
Oh, hey, no spoilers here. Yes. Okay, so that's what I thought he was writing. What?
We also forgot to talk quickly. Did we talk about this last week?
The what?
About the fact that Warner Brothers is doing another Lord of the Rings?
No, you and I talked about it.
We talked about it, but we haven't talked about it on the channel.
So tell me more about this. Is this going to be movies? Is this going to be a TV show? And what can they legally do that Amazon is not already doing?
So it's going to be movies. It's obviously it's going to be movies from what I see, and they're trying to create from the reports and sources. They're trying to create like a Marvel-like world or Star Wars-like world. Ooh. Sorry, I don't know why that pulled up. But they're trying to create this like Marvel-like world with the Lord of the Rings franchise. And I think we'll see
like a Scooby-Doo universe that they were trying to do a few years back.
Pretty much, yes.
Why would you agree to that?
I don't know. They tried it out, but it didn't come to fruition. And I think, as far as I know, Peter Jackson, Fran Walsh won't be a part of it, or they've been contacted, but they're not going to be a part of the direction of it.
What are they working on now? What's Jackson?
If I was him, I could sit on my rest of my laurels and be fine. I think he's made enough money between every Lord of the Rings and Hobbit movie and the King Kong movies. I guess they made money too, right?
The King Kong movie, maybe. Lovely Bones. I'm trying to think of what else he did after Lord of the Rings. I don't think Kong did as well as they wanted.
They had two movies with Tom Hiddleston and Brie Larson.
That had nothing to do with Kong. The other one was just Skull Island. They were rebooting it.
Oh, there we go.
My movies. They can't even wait 10 years to reboot a franchise. They're like, we're rebooting again.
Not Warner Brothers. They don't know the meaning of waiting.
They're going to reboot the Lord of the Rings and recast. This is how they get you. Because you're at that age, Amanda, where like,
no.
Now your childhood is coming back, but it's coming back as somebody else's image. This is Bayformers for you. The Lord of the Rings is going to be your Bayformers.
And I'm not going to like it.
For me was like,
they're going to cast a new Aragorn, and I'm going to be upset.
New who?
A new Aragorn. Like, so I think like they've talked about
your dude. Wasn't Legolas your dude?
No, actually, my dude was like
Pippin. You're a big Pippin fan, aren't you, girl?
I like the hairy little hobbit.
Taking breakfast.
No, my sister was a Legolas fan, but for me, it was Elijah Wood. That I just had a weird crush on Elijah Wood. It made me watch every Elijah Wood movie. What?
He's got those weird eyes that don't blink. So yes, Elijah Wood. I just saw a picture of them getting reunited. Eyes. I saw the reunion, like they were having dinner at a reunion.
They're always reuniting all the time.
It's really cool to see a group of friends like that were in one movie, right? Granted, it was 3. But
yeah,
it was really cool to see them together.
I agree.
Do we get an Irish episode next week? I've taken the hobbits to Isengard. So next week, I was thinking, let's okay. So next week is Wednesday, right? And Wednesday show. It's it's a big celebration here on Near Mint Condition. It's Omar's birthday month. That's what they call it. It's what I didn't come up with that term. I've just heard it dubbed that. And yeah, I was thinking maybe like some fantasy movie, like some of my favorite 80s fantasy movies or sci-fi movies.
Oh, it's the day after your birthday too.
What is?
The Wednesday.
Oh, on the 15th. Yes. Sorry.
March. Ooh, we sure we don't have like a Caesar movie? No,
Yeah, I would watch the first 2 seasons of Rome because I love those.
Okay. Gladiator? No, it's not really Caesar, but that's fine. I mean, it's still
That's a little off. Aliens. Yeah, I was thinking about Aliens because Amanda, hasn't not the biggest fan of horror movies. As a matter of fact, she kind of hates them.
I do.
Yeah, that's why I think I think it's wonderful for people like you, and I'm not demeaning this in any way. Last of Us and Walking Dead are perfect shows for people that don't like horror, that want to like horror but can't do horror movies because they're not really horror. They're more about the people, and every once in a while you might get a jump scare. I did see that he's writing a new. It's a new graphic novel, but it's like an adult book too, isn't it? Like more for an older crowd, rather.
Yeah.
Yes. Omar's birthday month. OBM, baby. Omar's 21st birthday. We can watch. Yes, enjoy my first beer. Thank you for that. When is Omar's birthday stream? Every Wednesday here on Near Mint.
Every Wednesday, apparently, for the rest of this month.
Until she blows her brains out. Hey, a birthday stream would be awesome. Oh, I'm not that self-conceited, but that's a good idea. Omar will watch Cocoon and live stream. Dude, I love Cocoon. That was voted. Nobody voted for Cocoon. They all voted. What they voted for? Terminator. I was so disappointed.
I know.
We reviewed Terminator. The second runner-up was the RoboCop, though, which I was really happy for. And Buckaroo Banzai, that didn't even get any love.
I wanted to see that, but
Masters of the Universe. We actually did. Was it really that bad?
Yeah, we did, of that exact movie. Yes, that's why I say "Good Journey" at the end of every episode now, because of that movie.
You stole that from Dolph. So
I sure stole that from Dolph.
I have been. We can watch Caligula. Yes, I've actually seen that. It's a weird movie. Your favorite movie review? Like we review a previous movie review that we did. We're like, man, your hair was fleek, Amanda.
I don't know. I did enjoy our Captain America. Was it really that bad? I'm talking about 1990s Captain America. Or Catwoman. Catwoman was quite
hilarious. I love that review. Because it's just it was so bad.
It was so bad.
Write down and do it. That's right. Omar's birthday streams in the middle of the night after Omar's birthday. Yeah. It's not conceit when you show yourself the love you show others.
He's feeling some Rocky knowledge and wisdom.
I don't think Rocky ever said that, though.
It sounds like something he could say. That sounds like something that he would write. If you put that on a meme with Rocky's face, people would believe it.
How about The Incredibles? You mean the Fantastic Four?
Catwoman,
the best CBM of all time. What did Catwoman have? I said it had the best lighting. That's all I can.
It had the best. It had the best physical.
The best lighting. Oh, the physical effects of that movie. Oh my gosh.
Where is that cat? Oh, we don't have it anymore. Someone's already deleted
my wife. All right. Yes. No, it is not. Has the no, it does not. Amanda, have you ever seen the sort of horror movie The Good Son? Elijah Wood's in that. Of course, yes.
I owned the VHS, or I owned the VHS of that. It was in my.
Creepy did your thing go with Elijah Wood?
Oh no! When I get fixated on an actor, I just go and watch every movie they're in. Like that's what I do. So I did that with Elijah Wood. So yeah, I saw Forever Young with Mel Gibson. Of course, I already watched The Faculty. So I just
Radio Flyer. Did you see the Radio Flyer?
Yes, I saw a Radio Flyer, and yes, I saw The Good Son. And it was the same time like Eternal Sunshine of the Spotless Mind had come out. So of course I watched that because he's in it as well. I know
he's in the Sin City too. He played the creepy role in Sin City.
Okay, so that was bad. I was past that point, so I didn't get to see that. But
it was like right after Lord of the Rings, I think. 2002, right? 2003, maybe?
Yeah, probably.
That is a blast from the past technology. Good time. Yes, it was. All right. So next week we'll either be doing some kind of horror franchise or some kind of fantasy franchise. Prepare to vote on our page, on our YouTube page. You get to vote the movie that we watch, and Amanda has to suffer through or
depends on what it is.
Yeah, depending on what it is.
And we're gonna see about trying to squeeze in a Last of Us review, maybe like sometime next week.
Oh, that would be good.
Because obviously with it being the final episode, we do want to do a wrap up of The Last of Us. And I'm sure we will talk about the Oscar results depending on the outcome. If Top Gun Maverick wins, I'll just be over the moon.
Did you see The Grand Piano with Elijah Wood?
No, I've not seen that. No.
Goonies. Oh, I love that movie. Have you seen Goonies?
Yeah, because I also did a Sean Astin thing and I watched
all you were off. You just wanted yourself a fellowship.
Yeah.
All right. And on that note, we are ending tonight's episode. Thank you all so much for watching. Oh, sure, baby. Good. Do your thing. Do your thing.
No, you're fine. So thank you guys so much for watching. Don't forget to hit that like and subscribe button. Remember to follow us on all of our social media channels at nearmintcon. Remember to check us out on Spreadshop for some great near mint condition merchandise. And also check us out on Patreon for $1 a month or more. You can support us here on everything that we do. And last but not least, if it's classy and cool, it must be Near Mint. Good journey. And it's not about how hard you hit. It's about how hard you get back. If you can get back up after you get hit. I don't know.
How hard you can get.